on the front side, you start knit off, and then it's making it sound really ominous, no? And first of all, knit off, and then purl on. So the stitch stays on the needle, and then you go to the back side and you do the opposite, so purl off. That just signifies the direction of where you put the needle. So knit on is you go from underneath the stitch, and purl on is you go above. Right. Oh my goodness. So this is the Kitchener stitch, by the way. They use this to cast off all sorts of projects where you want to finish with a sewn edge. So you're kind of casting off and doing it, like sewing it already at the same time. And you use it primarily on like mittens or socks. Goodness. No. Purl. So this is the first sock I've ever made, by the way. When I was younger, well, also when I was a bit older, I had a great-grandmother, and she lived to be 105 years old, 105 and 2 weeks. So we had this massive party for her, and then she died. And I actually wasn't at that party because I was in London. It was my first year. That actually, it doesn't even matter that part, but maybe in some context. But anyway, she was amazing at knitting socks. Where was I? Oh, purl. For every Christmas, every birthday, all of her children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren got either a pair of socks or some mittens. And not just any socks or mittens, like color work, lace, cables, anything. And I had so many pairs of these amazing socks and mittens. And when she died, the relatives closest to her basically said that anyone that wants something of hers can get it. So they had this whole list of things, and at that time I wasn't deeply into knitting or thinking about it as I am now, and I didn't even consider wanting to get her knitting needles. So about 4 years ago, when I started to think about knitting more again, I thought about her a lot, because she was amazingly talented at making all of these things, these socks and mittens and whatever else she could make that I couldn't see. And I thought, well, maybe if I had realized this sooner, I could have learned from her. She could have taught me how to make socks, because now this one I've learned from the great minds of today who are on YouTube tutorials. And this lady in this YouTube tutorial, she was really good as well at I did it wrong. Goodness. At explaining what you have to do. So basically, around 4 years ago, I thought I need to know how to knit again. And then I started knitting, and I did a bunch of mittens, I did a bunch of all of that, but I never cared about making socks. Until about 2 years ago, I thought, well, I should at least know how to make one. So if anyone magically came up to me and was like, you need to make me a pair of socks, then I could say, well, yeah, okay, I will make them for you like this, because I know how to, and I know that I know how to. And at that moment in time, also the configuration of sock was really difficult for me to imagine as like a maker. Like how am I gonna make this shape? So I grabbed a couple of materials that I needed, and I found this fantastic YouTube video of hopefully someone's future great-grandmother, and she taught me how to make the socks. So I started to make this one, and I finished the heel, and I'm so proud of myself because like that always seemed to me like the hardest part of any sock. And then I started to knit the length of it, which is this like foot part. And not only did I realize that I had made the sock about 3 sizes too big for me, but also that I skipped forward in the tutorial and I realized that I know how to make the toe. Like I already know how to do the Kitchener stitch and I know how to finish it. So in my head, putting 2 things together, I know how to make the heel, I know how to make the toe. Without even finishing the sock, I have made the sock, kind of. So in this goal of like knowing how to make a sock, I had already made it. And I didn't need to finish it. So I just kind of left it for a bit. But every time that I would look through my yarn and my unfinished projects, it would just be sitting there, like not finished. And I wasn't gonna unravel it because this is the first sock I've ever made. And although there's a hole in it right here, like something in me said like, no, this is history. This is archive. This is a manifestation of my learning as a knitter. So I just left it there. Well, at one point I thought like, what if I like frame it just as it is and I make a work out of it, say my first sock and it's not even finished, ha ha, maybe it's funny. Seems like it's not. But anyway, so when Christy messaged me to make a performance for this event, I thought, oh my god, finally I can finish the sock and I can think through why I really made it, why any of it was necessary. And I can just say like, yay, I have a sock.
You imagine I'm happy now? Yeah, the sock is speaking, get over it. I'm pissed, frankly, because what do you think will happen to me now? I mean, after the show is done, of course. She's not going to wear me. She's not giving me away so no one will wear me. Believe it or not, she won't be unraveling me either. This yarn is shit. It was already scrap yarn. And you need to use sock yarn for socks. Otherwise, it'll take one harsher step and there will be holes everywhere. Well, to be honest, she's done well on the heel part. That's a really good sturdy stitch. However, she didn't even pick that. It was what the lady in the tutorial did. Speaking of, she's actually crazy if she thinks she could make another sock just like that now because I'm finished. She'd get to the heel and she'd have to get the video back up. I'm 100% sure. This isn't like swimming or riding a bike that you magically know how to do after you've done it the one time. It's actually crazy even having to explain it. Like, do you even really need to know how to make the sock? Like, are there like 100,000 in the world?
I was talking about my grandmother.
Oh yeah, the poor, talented knitter great-grandmother whose legacy you are tarnishing by knitting one measly sock. Me.
I'm not arguing with you.
I wasn't talking to you anyway. Where even was I? Yes, I think this whole pursuit has been selfish and thoughtless. She has created me to simply be a physical manifestation of her own success and growth, and by doing that is stripping me bare of my true intent and purpose. Not only that, she's not even shy about it. She thinks it's funny. She was going to frame me. This girl is sick and twisted and should stick to her sweaters and cardigans and vests and hand warmers that actually get worn. Yeah, I am feeling utterly and intensely sorry for myself. I am. So quick to say for laughs, I didn't even want to make socks for the socks themselves. Like, wow. I think maybe I need to lay down. I'm feeling faint. Not only will I never be worn, or repurposed, or unraveled, I will never be a pair. She'll never make another one. Oh no. Cut it. Just cut it. Guys, I'm not doing the song. It's not right. No, we're not, I'm too emotional, okay? Just cut it. Cut the lights.